of the Social and Up Close Network Lounge for Women Mean Business. We're thrilled to see so many of you again. We didn't get together over the summer months, but it was a wonderful summer for all of us to embrace. And we hope that you're all well, and we're all in a busy fall season. I wanted just to quickly do some, we have a lot of our followers here, but we also have some new members of our network as well, so welcome. And just some housekeeping notes, if you be so kind, is to keep your video on mute, not your video, your microphone on mute. And then in the chat session area, you can ask questions, and after Katie's presentation, we'll go over the Q&A and she can address any questions you have. And as I said, we are recording this so that we can place it on our website and our future e-newsletter. And I do have to apologize. I sent you out the Zoom link yesterday and I put in our new venture and I didn't put Canada at the end of it. So it's womenonthemovecanada.ca. So my apologies for that. We'll talk about that a little bit later. So Josie, would you do the honors of introducing Katie?
I would love to introduce Katie. So Katie Ross, business strategist and coach. A little bio on Katie. She is a modern business coach and strategist that has been working with small business owners and creatives for more than 12 years. She helps her clients get clear on who they are, where they want to go, and how they're going to get there so that they are more confident to take action on their business. Reach their clients faster, and do more of the work that they love. Katie works with her clients to understand their vision and goals so that together they can create strategic alignment and a purposeful plan that supports their business and lifestyle. You can learn more about Katie at www.katieross.co. Also, we call her now, Gabby and I, Superwoman.
We certainly do.
But Katie is our superwoman because in the last 8 to 9 weeks, this beautiful woman has worked tirelessly in creating our amazing website for our store, online store. It was quite a pivot. I guess thank you to COVID in a way, but really much thanks to Katie because her strategy, her patience, amazing guidance has helped us have, in a very short period of time, this amazing online store. We're very excited and also where it's going to take us. So thank you so much, Katie, to everything you've helped us do. And my dear, I believe the floor is all yours.
Awesome. So I'm just going to share my screen super quickly here. I have 2 screens, so don't be bothered if you see me kind of looking off into space. All right. So I'm gonna run through the slide deck because I wanted to make sure that I stay on track with everything that I wanted to make sure that I jam in. I've got a really bad habit of talking really fast so that I can really give the most value for the bang for the buck for the time that I spend with my clients. So if I am going too fast at any point, I'm also going to open the chat section here. Just tell me to slow down if you want to ask any questions. I'm going to ask you for some input and to kind of contribute to the conversation. So my chat's open and I'll be able to see your responses here. So again, good morning. My name is Katie Ross. As Josie gave me an amazing introduction. Essentially, business strategist, and I primarily work with independent business owners that can call themselves a number of things. So maybe it is an online store owner, a creative, artists and makers are amazing to work with as well, freelancers, even MLM style businesses, network marketing, bloggers, and of course, everything in between. My specialty, my core focus, the people that I really love working with are the 1- and 2-man or woman shows. They usually have no staff or they have very little staff. And of course, as we all know, they're responsible for wearing all of the hats that come with running a business. So I recognize a few names of people that are in the room here, but if you could help me out a little bit, I would love if you in the chat section here could tell me what word do you describe yourself, or words, combination of words, as a business owner, or if you're in a position with a company, what's your role?
Oh, in the chat?
Yeah, if in the chat, if you could just kind of put in, like, do you call yourself an entrepreneur? Do you call yourself an artist? Customer service, amazing. Thanks, Bonnie.
as chief bottle washer, trying to kind of cut it.
Absolutely. That's great, Sherry. President, nice. Entrepreneur, yep. Amazing. I'll continue to monitor the chat if you want to keep kind of plugging that in there. So often, amazing, thank you, Michelle. Often the initial focus that I have when I work with my clients is to work together with them. And primarily it's really to be realistic. So to set goals and to create a roadmap to help you follow that will help you stay in alignment with your vision and also allows room for some creativity and some movement. As we all know, entrepreneurship is very unpredictable and risky. So there's not a lot of things that are predictable in business. And today, some of the things that I'm going to talk about are going to help you kind of get things to be a little bit more predictable. So as Josie had mentioned, I've been working with business owners for the past year. What does that look like? It could be anything from somebody who's new to owning a business or to entrepreneurship or the world of startup or launching. I've also worked alongside business owners with product and service launches that have essentially taken them to the next level. And of course, helping them build the confidence that they need so that they can understand the how-tos and the how-comes of building success in business. As they also mentioned, I've recently become a Shopify partner. And what does that mean? Well, it means that I can help people build their Shopify store. I can build it for them as a standalone service. So that's an area that I'm exploring right now in my business in terms of potentially making a few different shifts. Hi, Jocelyn. If I'm being honest, and I tell this to everybody, and especially I'm a mom of 3 girls, and this is something that I talk to them about often, is I believe that everybody should have an opportunity and should have access to forge their own path, whether it be in career or in business. So in my opinion, and again, I may be biased, but I really do believe that the small business community is highly underserved, whether it be by government or from other agencies. And I don't just say that at a local level. I think when I look at the grand scheme of things, whether at a provincial and federal level as well. So why did I go out on my own 2 years ago? Well, essentially it was to roll up my sleeves and dive deeper. A lot of the services that business owners access right now are really surface level. And this world of entrepreneurship can be insane and can be very daunting and can be very lonely. So some people call me their sidekick, some people call me their hero, and some people often what ends up happening is it turns into a beautiful friendship as well. So as you can imagine, I've seen a lot of things that work, and of course a lot of things that don't work. And something that I've come to realize is if you know your craft enough, it's the business part that becomes the struggle. So when it comes to operating a business, as much as I guess what I'm trying to say is that it's not rocket science. There is a solution to a lot of the things that we're trying to do, as long as we're willing to do the work. So I want to also preface that I do not have all of the answers. I am not a master of all trades. I like to leverage the people that are in my network. So I'm often referring on an as-need basis in and out, whether it be to an agency or to another small business owner that maybe can help you achieve what it is that you're trying to achieve. But I'm also really well versed on all of the moving parts at a provincial level of all the programs, the different players, and the opportunities in the entrepreneur ecosystem. I've been around for a while. So my goal is 3 things. So I want things to be simple, I want them to be actionable, and of course, above all else, they need to get you results. If you take the time to lay out the basics and the foundation of any business, it's easy to stay in alignment and you're more apt to doing the work. You're also going to notice today that I use the word action a lot because a lot of people tend to get stuck in the planning and in the strategizing phase and they actually don't do the work. So if you're not willing to do the work, in my opinion, you're wasting your time. If you're ready to show up and do the work, I'm going to dive in here. So again, luckily this is recorded. You can take a picture with your phone of some of the slides because I've listed some questions. I'm happy to share the slide deck with you following the presentation if you find that it will be helpful. So we're going to cover a lot. As Gabby and Josie mentioned at the very beginning, stay with me. So if you've got 56 tabs open on your computer, you're kind of plugging away at a few other different things. I'm just asking for a little bit of time so that you can kind of zone in here and hopefully that you'll pull away some gems. So my first loaded question that I have for you today is I want you to think about the business that you're in. Who do you serve? What are you trying to accomplish? What's your vision? And what do you do? I'm going to give you a second, a minute, 2 minutes maybe, to answer this yourself in your head. You can jot it down on a piece of paper that you have close, or just kind of, I want you to think about it for a minute. Don't stress. I'm not going to make you share it. I just want to get you thinking. Okay, so for those of you that have had the time to really kind of think of what that is, essentially what your pitch is, in one word, and emojis are allowed, I want you to tell me again in the chat how confident you feel about what you just told yourself or what you just kind of jotted down on that sheet of paper. So how do you feel? How does it make you feel? Were you comfortable talking about it to yourself? Did it just kind of flow? Did you encompass everything that you had hoped to kind of to spit out? Very, okay, so Janet, I'm assuming you mean very, very clear. Okay, Michelle, amazing clarity, awesome. Confident and clear, awesome. That's super important, because if you don't believe the words that you've said, then nobody else is going to believe what that is either, right?
Oh, true.
So if anybody's kind of feeling a little stuck here, I'm going to keep moving forward in terms of kind of helping you reverse engineer it so that you can become a little bit more confident in what your pitch is. So maybe the questions that you should be asking yourself is, what don't you do? What's a hard no, and who don't you serve? That's great, Claudette, thanks for sharing. Let me put that into perspective a little bit. We've all been in a situation or started a project and have asked ourselves, why the hell did I say yes to this? Have you ever found yourself doing work for free that maybe you would otherwise charge for? Or maybe it's you donated a product or a service to a cause that doesn't really mean much to you, but you just couldn't say no, or you agreed so that they would just finally leave you alone. Has anybody experienced any of these things where you've caught yourself essentially working for free or giving away free product? And for what? Yes, yes, yes. That's being a small business owner. We seem to be a target for these requests. I kind of figured that the majority of you would have agreed to this. So often when we switch the narrative here, what it does is it helps make it easier for you to focus on the things that you want to be doing, and of course the work that you want to be doing. If anybody is really kind of feeling that this is a fuzzy area for you, but I believe it comes back tenfold. Claudette, I agree with you on that. I'm going to dive a little bit deeper here in a second. When somebody asks you for a freebie, how do you respond? So oftentimes what happens is when I work with my clients, I help them create tools that they can leverage when they get these requests. Because sometimes it's not easy to have these conversations face to face, or we react too quickly in responding to them. So maybe you need a sales sheet or a sales to be directing them to the sales page on your website. The benefits of having a sales sheet, and that can either be that can also be a PDF that you send to them in an email, is that they learn more about the ways that you work and how you can work together. And they're going to do one of two things. They're either going to get the hint that you're not interested, or they're going to pay you because they find that the investment is worth it. So when it comes to product donations, I see a lot of people struggle in this area. It's super important to set a limit of what you're going to allow yourself, maybe in a calendar year is how you look at it, and only agree to take part if it's something that holds meaning to you. So this is where a lot of people talk about running a purposeful business. Maybe it's a hard no for you and you tell them, I've reached my limit for this year for donations, or, you know, this cause really isn't in alignment with the business or with me as an individual. I wanted to kind of zone in a little bit too with everything that's going on in the world right now surrounding BLM. And a lot of people are trying to figure out how are they going to implement a strategy that surrounds either this topic or another topic that is near and dear to their heart. I've worked with clients before where mom suffered from Alzheimer's, and that was the organization that they wanted to donate back to. Maybe your kids spend some time at the Boys and Girls Club or your grandkids, and this is the organization that you would like to support because they've been amazing to your family. So what does that look like? It can be either through financial donations or a product or service to take part in a raffle. So when I ask, what do you do? It's definitely a loaded question, but I hope kind of the different topics that I've covered here really kind of lets you see the importance of knowing what business that you're in, so that when you do get these types of requests, you're ready to respond, or you're prepared to present an alternative opportunity to the individuals that maybe are looking for those products or those services or those financial donations. So as I mentioned, it's definitely a loaded question. This is a question that I encourage my clients to look at the very least once a year. If you can throw it in your calendar quarterly, just as a quick prompt, even as a calendar thing where you maybe you just spend 30 minutes really kind of thinking of what is my answer to that, and is it the same, and is it the same moving forward? Because as I mentioned earlier, sometimes we're shifting and maybe doing a bit of a business refresh, and it just acts as a reminder and can help move your venture forward. It's a great way to really ground yourself also, or really give you an energy boost to remind you what business that you're doing and why you're in that business. So today what I want to cover is I've got 3 strategies that I share with every client that I work with. Maybe you're thinking, is this cookie cutter? And they are cookie cutter habits. But if you can implement these into your business, even if they're in your own way, this is how you're going to increase your opportunities for success, and again, stay in alignment with your vision. Again, this is something that I recommend doing on a regular basis. Pop it in your calendar, do these 3 things, and make the time to do them so that they can act as a reminder for your vision and your goals moving forward. So here's the 3 things. So I'm going to talk to you a little bit about how I do brand and self check-ins, how I help my clients with co-creation, and time blocking. Essentially, these are 3, again, habits that can be game changers. So if you can get these things figured out, then it allows room for some really awesome things to happen, and they definitely increase predictability and help set you up for success. So let's jump in. So number 1, brand and self check-in. I want you to take some time to look back. And a lot of times when I say to my clients, we're going to reflect a little bit, sometimes they're like, but we're not going that way. What's the saying? Don't look back, we're not going in that direction. But when we reflect, it is a very powerful way for you to make room and open up some new headspace. I'm going to run through a series of questions to get you thinking that I use with my clients in order to help them look back and just do a bit of an audit on what they're doing, so that they can gain clarity, celebrate their wins, and identify new areas of opportunity. Let's begin. So ask yourself, what have I accomplished in the last year? What are some of the things that I did that I regretted agreeing to? What's my biggest failure from the last year, and what did I learn from it? Where did I fall short? What's working and operating with ease? And what do I need to let go of to move into something new? I want to zoom in here on the last one. I'm going to go back to that slide so that you can revisit those questions. Entrepreneurs are known to be nonstop. We're always hustling. We're going 100 miles an hour. And if that's something that's always happening, how do you anticipate things changing? If you don't take the time to make room, then there's no room for growth, and there's no opportunity for you to really kind of buckle down on the things that are working. I'm a huge cheerleader for the small business community. I'm constantly encouraging people to celebrate their wins. I'll give you an example. A few weeks ago, a client of mine posted on social media, I did this presentation to a store she wanted to sell her products in, and the store didn't accept it. And so she was kind of bummed out, and I was like, but you got time with the store owner. You need to celebrate that you broke down that barrier, and then next we'll worry about winning the deal, or whatever that it may is. So whether it's a big or it's a small, something that has helped you kind of progress or you've learned from, it's definitely something worth celebrating. If you don't take the time to identify what's working, then you could be missing out on opportunities on things that you could be doubling down on. So it needs to change based on what you've learned. Again, schedule the time in to do the work. And where are some areas that you can automate or create systems, do the work, do the research, again, schedule it in and do the work. Do an audit of the things that aren't working, and you need to make a very important decision. So is it worth my while to make it work? Do I need to put it aside until next quarter, or do I need to dump it? If you're constantly spinning your tires and never end up doing the things that you've created, you don't have any room to do new things, for better things, or for bigger things. You're constantly running around chasing your tail. What are some of the things that you can think of right now that you need to let go of? Maybe you run a few workshops a year alongside a one-on-one support service, but the attendance for your workshop is low. Okay, how can you build more value in that workshop or give it a revamp? Maybe an online course, which seems to be the direction that a lot of people are going in right now, or a more robust program to attract new potential participants, or maybe even clients that were on the fence, or an opportunity for repeat business? Or is it time that I axe it and really just kind of double down on my one-on-one work? So I'm going to flip back to the list of questions for those who may need to see that list again. So essentially, the goal of reflecting is to review and tighten up what you've already got in play. Again, in hopes of maybe making room for something new, or identifying where you need to double down to increase your profits. Okay, we're going to jump over to strategy number 2, co-creation. I love co-creation. Co-creation is a very easy tool that is at the tip of all of our fingertips that we can use. So when you're feeling like you're out of things to talk about, why don't we just ask our clients what they want? Our audience, our clients, past clients, and co-create with our audience. We're looking to them for the words that they use when describing what they want and what they see. Maybe what they've experienced while they're working with you, or attended one of your workshops, or maybe it's just the way that they describe the challenges that they're facing and what solutions that they're seeking. It then becomes your job to essentially regurgitate that language to them when you describe the work or transformation that it is that you offer. So essentially, when they're consuming your content, they're wondering, holy shit, is she talking to me? Like, those are the exact words that I use when I describe the problems that I have. I've always found, like, if you use social for an example on how you could be asking these questions, Instagram stories is amazing for this, because you can use like the question boxes, and there's like poll options and things like that. So another easy way to co-create content is to create a hype file or a smile file. So essentially a place where you capture all of the info from above, so keeping it in one place so that you can kind of go through it. And then it really just kind of puts together all of the goodness that people are saying about you and how you've helped them along the way. It can be kept in an email file, it can be kept on your desktop, it can be in a folder on your phone. I like to throw screenshots in here too. So if ever you have somebody that maybe wrote an awesome post about you or gave you a shout out in their stories and you screenshot it, this is a great place to store those items. And then you can essentially take them and create content with them. So maybe it's a social post. I use Canva, so maybe it is going into Canva and kind of writing out what that quote is and tagging that business and identifying who that business owner is. You don't always need to source your testimonials, but of course they definitely carry more weight if you do. This is also a great place for you to spend some time when you're having some self-doubt, something again that a lot of people who are self-employed tend to kind of fight with themselves in their own head. So it's a great place for a pick-me-up. And it also contains real life feedback about how amazing that you are at what you do and why you're doing what you do. All of this stuff is information that should be shared. So if you have testimonials, or maybe it's an email after doing a follow-up with a client that was like, thank you so much, this was amazing, it's exactly what I needed because of A, B, C, you can screenshot that or stash those emails into these files as well. I wanted to give you some examples of what types of things you can produce through co-creation as well. So this is probably the best way to build copy. So whether that be copy for your website or copy for social media or copy for a campaign or an event, Again, it's that using the same language that these people are using to describe their challenges and what transformation that they're looking for and what they want, really kind of hones in when you're speaking to them. So maybe you could also go through this data and it helps you create what your next offer is. Maybe your clients are looking for service A, B, which are in package 1, and they also want services E, D that are in package 2, but they don't need all of the other pieces. So maybe this is something that could create a whole new offer or a new program, more specific to what your audience is looking for based on what's kind of going on. Again, it could help maybe be a case study or a testimony on your website, which is also super powerful. And so I want to just give you a bit of an example of how easy it is to do this. So as you could remember at the beginning of this session, I asked you what word you use to describe yourself, and you all gave me very valuable information. Maybe I'm going to use this to retarget you, or maybe I want to target similar businesses to those businesses that you run. So now I have an idea of some of the words that you use when you refer to yourself as a business owner. Does that make sense? I can see you all nodding, I'm sure. Last but not least, I also wanted to cover time blocking. You probably are wondering why I keep repeating schedule it in. If you don't take the time to do the things aren't going to happen. So when I say schedule it in, it's essentially if ever you feel like you have something that needs to be added, maybe you have a long and daunting to-do and you need to add something to it. Schedule that stuff in. I'm a pen to paper list taker, and the satisfaction of highlighting, of crossing out, of ticking a box on something of my to-do list is amazing. So I think it's important that we remember, we often forget that you need to block time for administrative tasks. You need to block time to follow up. I don't know if this is a generational thing, but a lot of the people that I've talked to this year don't even think about following up. Maybe it's on a lead that they received at the beginning of the month. They've let the time go by too fast, and now that lead's kind of gone cold. So we need to remember that following up is still a pretty important tool in business that could lead to an easy win. Block time to plan and schedule your content. These are all things that if we're not consistent in these areas, very quickly it becomes a mountain of overwhelm and can easily get you off track or stuck in the chaos. I want you to think again for a quick minute here on some of the things in your business that take time for you to actually stop and do. I'm going to share with you a few things that have been pretty repetitive again this year for myself and for my clients. So, and some of these are super simple, but if we forget about them, then we're not doing them. So it's important to take the time at least again once a year to review all your memberships and subscriptions, scrap what's no longer serving you. It's obviously going to save you money. And is there an opportunity for you to maybe shift that money to another app that can help you be more efficient in your work? Review your prices and your offering. If your calendar is constantly full, could be a good time to review your prices and hike them up a bit. What are some of your volunteer commitments? Do you sit on boards? Are these boards and organizations still in alignment with the business that you're in? Do you have any opportunities for automations? Is there an online booking tool that you could be using? Is there a customer management system or versus an Excel spreadsheet, anything like that? And of course, learning opportunities, conferences, courses, a lot of this stuff happening online right now. And of course, goal setting, progress measuring, and planning. And my favorite, which always hits the bottom of the list, and I'm kind of not surprised that it's the last one on this list, is time off. Book it in, stick to it. Does anybody else have anything that kind of similar to some of the things that I've just chimed off that you would kind of like to share with the groups, like things that maybe they don't think of often that they should be checking in? We've got Arthur here. Scheduling your time in is critical to your commitment and follow-up. You won't always be on schedule, but you can reschedule according to changing priorities. Bingo. Yes, I love that. Time off for exercise and health. Yes, Michelle, that's right in line with your business, of course. Yes, and whether that be mental health or physical health, right? Time for work time versus social media. Yes. So easy to get into the endless scroll and stay stuck there for hours and hours on end. I think even kind of just mentioning that to add to what Bonnie is saying about social media is not to get caught comparing yourself. So I always find that competition is good, but sometimes following some of your competition on social, you can get into the headspace of like oh, they're 10 steps ahead of me. Why am I even bothering? Or, oh, they're trying this thing. Maybe I need to try this thing. So comparing yourself can also be detrimental when you're stuck in social media because it's easy to be exposed to that. Amazing. Thanks for chiming in there, guys. So last but not least, of course, you know I'm here and I'm going to plug. So I have a special offer for everybody that is here. I would like to extend an opportunity for anybody that was interested in booking a session that I will be offering everybody that attended today $50 off of a service of your choice. That can be diving in deep to strategy and really kind of identifying specifically for you and for your business. You will probably hear about these 3 strategies, but I promise there is much more where these gems came from. Now, I also wanted to share, hold on, I'm just going to kill my screen here. There we go. I'm back, my face. I also wanted to share an opportunity that I have shared with a few people in this room already, but not everybody. So essentially when COVID hit, I was taking part in a program out of Toronto that covers Eastern Ontario. Some of you may have heard of the Women Entrepreneurship Strategy, which is down the federal stream, and the federal government is dumping a ton of money into women-led businesses right now. And I've been taking part in the stream specific to social enterprise. So I see some faces even here that are running social enterprises already, or that maybe you're looking at how to implement a social strategy into your business for something that's a little bit more purpose driven. They're in a position right now, and I've never seen this before, and I've worked with tons of funded programs where there's grants for this and there's grants for that. They've actually just given them a top up and extended the program. So I have access, if anybody here is interested in business coaching specific for their business and do have some sort of a social purpose, if you want to connect with me after this, I'm happy to share that opportunity with you. Essentially what you get is 10 free hours of business coaching through this company out of Toronto that is also a social enterprise. But again, so the catch is that you need to have a social purpose. And if you think that this is something that may be in alignment with the business that you run, I'm happy to chat as a sidebar outside of this to determine if this is something that you would be eligible for. So again, thanks a ton for your time. I don't know if we're on time or if we have lots of time left, or if anybody has any questions or anything specific. I also welcome the opportunity if anybody wants to jump in on the conversation and collectively brainstorm ideas on a challenge that maybe you're facing in your business or whatever that may be.
Yes, thank you, Katie. I'm just looking to see if there's any new questions or comments. Just give me a moment here. Do you see any new ones as well versus nothing?
No, I didn't see any questions kind of coming in.
Well, that just shows you how detailed you were.
I think if there's anything else that I was kind of hopeful to cover today, and this is something that I've probably repeated a million times since COVID. I hate that word. I hate all of this that's going on. But I think we know that we're bound to, whether it be in lockdown or something's coming down the pipe. It's only a matter of time before we kind of relive some of that stuff. And a few of you have mentioned it today, is clarity. Now is not the time for buzzwords and social or awesome sounding taglines. You need to tell your customers what you need. If you need your customers to buy gift cards, which seem to be an answer for a lot of people, for those maybe that are selling a product or a service, tell your customers you need them to buy gift cards. If you need to expand your social reach, tell your followers you need likes and you need comments and you need reviews and you need all of that stuff. People want to support small businesses right now, and if you're not telling them how they can support you, they're just going to go and support other small businesses because they're going to assume that you don't need that help. So messaging and clear and like plain language, and keep it super simple, is crazy important right now. So don't get caught up in, again, the buzzwords and the taglines, or like getting really creative with a name for a program that you're offering, or like being really kind of clever about it, where there's like a play on words or whatever that may be. Keep it simple so that it's easier for people to understand. I think the rule in marketing, from my experience, is it takes somebody to read something 7 times before they actually take action, whether that be whether they buy, or whether they click the link, or whether they book that call or book that service, or whatever that may be. So repeat, 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 and just keep it simple and keep it super clear.
Thank you, Katie. Excellent points at all levels for all of us as business owners. We really appreciate it, and we're so delighted that you're here in Kingston, Eastern Ontario area for that support. Both Josie and I are just so honored to be working with you. And you've certainly been a tremendous help to us with our new venture, and we can't thank you enough for that. And your skill set and your professionalism and your background has led you to where you are now. So we're so happy that you're here, and especially during this COVID period where we all need, and I don't even like using that word pivot anymore, as Josie says, pirouetting, you do need to do that. And we've been thinking about our expansion, our venture, and this COVID in some ways pushed us forward, but it's been there in the back of your mind, but sometimes you need a little bit that extra push, and that was certainly very instrumental to us as well. And we're quite excited about it. So we thank you for your expertise, and I'm sure most everyone got great content here for where they are in their business and to move forward. So are there any other questions? I don't think so. I'm just trying to look here.
I was going to type it in, but it's okay if I just...
Yes, by all means.
Katie, thank you for your time. I've already just booked in. If you look like
I come in.
Well, I had to do the 30-minute because I'm on a session at 10:30, so I couldn't do the hour and 15. But I loved your presentation. I loved how simple, clear, and right it is, especially for now. So I'm hoping that we can work together. I like that you also said sometimes people turn into your friends. Not that there's any pressure. There's no pressure. But thank you. I really would benefit from some of your support right now.
Awesome. Thanks, Sherry. It'll be awesome reconnecting.
And Sherry, that leads right into Josie. You're going to be talking about our next presentation, and that's about Sherry Lachine. So Josie, please take it away.
So Sherry, I'm so glad you're here, because it is my great pleasure to remind everybody and let them know that Tuesday, October 27th, Sherry Lachine, who's a mental health professional, will be presenting at our next Zoom presentation. It's going to be strategies for mental health wellness in times of sustained stress. And that would be these times. Sherry, if you don't know Sherry, she is the owner of Broadmind, a company that focuses on strategies for mental health and giving back to the community. She facilitates mental health courses for the Mental Health Commission of Canada, and she helps workplaces and community members to learn the skills and knowledge to become high-functioning teams and connected people. So also for those of you who would like to learn more, we have more information. Actually, Sherry's resources here in Kingston are on our website under Mental Health Resources in Kingston by Sherry Lachine. So please go take a look at our website, or just visit www.broadmind.ca. And you can connect with Sherry and ask her more questions as well. This is an interesting time. So the more we can lean on each other and help each other, the better.
This just shows you the dynamic amount of fabulous women that we have here in Kingston, Eastern Ontario. And the more we can showcase that, the more better for all of us. And I do agree with you, Katie, is simplifying things, and with your message and the being transparent is where we all need to be. And so thank you again for your great content. And Sherry, we look forward to hearing you in October. And once again, we thank the many new guests that were with us this morning, and more details will follow for registration for October 27th. And I also know that Thanksgiving is on its way, so we just say a personal note, happy Thanksgiving to everyone, have an enjoyable weekend, and there's a lot to be grateful for. We are here in Canada, and we live in a beautiful region, so let's all be kind to one another and embrace even through our challenges that we are facing right now. And I want to just end it with one line: success is yours to define. Have a great week, and we'll see you in October. Josie, anything else?
Yeah, actually, if you don't mind, if you folks haven't seen it yet, like Katie was telling us, be direct, so I'll be direct. Please go to www.womanonthemovecanada.ca. You will see our new venture there. And also what we're doing is we're working with local artists. I was wearing one of them. We're working with local female artists and transposing a lot of their beautiful work onto scarves and gorgeous apparel, but also home decor. It's an interesting place that we're moving towards. And actually, like Gabby and I talked about it last time, we're just bringing inspiration, maybe some joy in a different way. And we hope it does. Thank you.
Thank you, Josie. Thank you, everyone. Have a great week, and till the next time. Thanks, Katie. Thanks, Sherry. Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody. Take care.
Bye. Is it
Hello,
just you and I? Is it just you and I? Good.
I think so.
Let me just stop the recording. Hold on.